stories where like justice never happened, and it pisses me off. Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome back to another episode of Crime with Coffee, where today's story comes all the way from Arizona, and it's gonna piss you off, so I hope you have a beverage that's gonna help calm you down and you're nice and cozy, because it's a doozy. This is about a man who was born in New York City in 1961 of the name Robert Fisher, and if there's anything I've learned, it's that I'm probably not going to name my next child Robert. No shade to all the Roberts out there, but this is the second story about a Robert who is very mentally disturbed. In 1976, Robert's parents got a divorce, and it was a very turbulent, very messy divorce, and it ended up leaving Robert very bitter. He talked about it a lot. He was just like, ugh, how dare my parents get a divorce? God. I mean, it's all about that background and that upbringing. It's like things from kids' childhoods always help shape them, which is why I'm always so interested in that stuff. Because I'm just like, why did you do this, Robbie? Why? Well, Robert actually did like a lot of noble things. He enlisted in the Navy. He unsuccessfully tried to join the SEALs team, which I don't even know what that means if you unsuccessfully try to do it. I guess he just got denied. And then after the Navy, he became a firefighter where he got a severe back injury that forced him to retire. And then after he was a firefighter, he moved to Arizona and he worked in the medical field as a couple different people who worked with Robert said that he was a very hardworking and good-working individual, that he kind of like kept to himself, but that he always complained of severe back pain and that they noticed that it hurt him. In 1987, he married his wife, Mary Cooper, and they had 2 kids. Now, Robert was a very fucked up father and a very fucked up husband. Tears. Robert was described as being very cruel, very distant, and a control freak to his family. And a couple of examples is that, like, whenever Mary would talk out of turn, he would turn a garden hose on her. And then I guess whenever he liked to go fishing and hunting, and he would take his kids out on a boat with him, and in order to teach them how to learn how to swim, he just like threw them into the lake. Like, swim, little fishy. No, it did not work, obviously, because the kids were screaming. And then dear old Robert started to think about the consequences of his actions, and he was like, I'm kind of an asshole. I'm kind of scared that Mary is going to divorce me and that my kids are going to no longer have a put-together family. No shit, Robert. But remember, Robert's parents went through a divorce and it left him very scarred for life. And Robert was like, there is no way I can get a divorce. I would rather commit suicide. And he just kept like talking about suicide and crazy weird things around everybody. And everyone was like, okay. On the night of April 2001, neighbors said that they heard a lot of screaming and a lot of yelling. And then whenever things may have died down, all of a sudden there was a big explosion. And the house exploded. Robert's house, that is. Officials investigated. They found 3 bodies. It was the body of Mary and the 2 kids. And it said that Mary was shot in the head while the 2 kids were slashed. And even though their bodies were burned, they were found laying on beds. Pretty fucked up. The thing about him setting it on fire too is that whenever I was reading it, it was like, yeah, the way that he went about it, he would have had to sit there for like hours until anything would have happened. So I'm like, this fool just like killed his family, sat there for hours, and I'm like, what was he thinking then? Was he even thinking anything? What was in your mind, Robert? So in the end, Robert was actually never found. There are some theories that he escaped into the cave systems around his house and that he may have died due to lack of oxygen, or that he just escaped and is living somewhere today, which is very disturbing to think about. Some people who live in the neighborhood over where Robert's house was actually say that they still see him driving around, driving past where his house used to be. If that's true, that's disturbing. Yeah. That's how the story ends. That's it. The end. There's no happy ending for anybody. I just feel bad for, like, Mary's family and everything, because how horrible must it be for your family to go through something so tragic and no justice ever happens? Fuck you, Robbie. But I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode of Coffee with Crime. Tomorrow. Bye!